if we are going to really express Christ in our time, if we are going to have Christ being, amongst us, if people are going to see Christ in us, we have to go back and take the gospel back to the place of community. Because we don't do that, I can assure you, we are going to continue preaching the gospel to each other, because I think for a long time, that was what we've been doing. We've been preaching the gospel to each other. We've been, just like kind of empowering each other to keep on going on. But we need to get to a point where people in the world are going to listen to us, are going to look at us, and they're like, you know what, that if that is Christianity, I want it. If that is salvation, I think that is what I want. If that is the love that Christians have, I think that is what I want, because we are not preaching with our actions. We are not preaching with us just sitting in the office. We are lacking the ministry of just being models. Let me say that. The early church, they didn't have much of the revelation that we have in our time. In other words, we are very much blessed. That is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to water down revelation. Revelation is very important, and we love it. And because God will give us revelation even in our time. But when they began, the early church, they were just basic believers who were not dealing with a lot of things, but they were just checking about doctrine in terms of family, in terms of business, in terms of employment, in terms of, different leadership. And so that was what they were dealing with. They were using the word of God to streamline things that were just common in the society. And I think this is one of the aspects we have lost as a church now, because there is almost a disconnect between the church and the society. And I don't know how many of you have noted that, but there is almost a disconnect. We only connect to the society when we need to go do an outreach, and that is okay, but that is not the way it's supposed to be, because society is part of who we are. We live in the society. And so it should be that we are able to integrate our Christianity with the society. And so it has been bothering me, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, every time I'm reading about the things that Paul wrote, the great apostle, I'm realizing that he's more community, focused, and seeing that he's talking to people who are in family, talking to people who are employed and who are employers, and talking to children, and talking to parents, and talking to married people. And so we need to get back to the place where we are going back to the origin of the gospel, the foundation of the gospel. If our Christianity, no matter how much revelation we have, no matter how much we advance in terms of knowledge, because the truth is that there is advancement in knowledge, and the church now has really advanced in knowledge. I'm sure when they are sitting around in heaven and they're seeing how, the people we have in our time are preaching the gospel, they're like, wow. I can just see Peter and Paul having a discussion, and they're like, did you just hear that dimension of revelation that apostle just unleashed? I believe it with all my heart. The reason why I believe it is because if you look at, if we're going to go to the other books that Paul wrote, we're going to go to the other books, like where Peter wrote and all that, you're going to notice it's so basic. But look at what they did. Look at the faith. So this thing they are calling faith, this thing they keep on emphasizing about faith, it was not just faith in terms of cognitive. They really were able to walk by faith. They really knew how to bring the expression of Christ in their lives and the lives of people who they live together. So it was not just faith in terms of just being about it, but they knew how to live by faith. They knew how to exercise faith. They knew how to walk in love, and they exercised walking in love. And that is very, very profound in our time. If you can only go back to that place where we are looking at how we are living with people, the people that are even in our houses, the people that we have in our family, the people that we have in the community, the people that we have at work, the people who are under us if we are an employer, or the people that are above you if you are employed. So we see these are the places where we need to go back to. Christianity is not just spoken. Christianity is also model. And if you're going to just pick Christianity in terms of preaching, in terms of encouraging people, empowering people, that is good. But the Christianity that we need to go back to, because we are doing the first one very well, we need to go back to the place of modeling Christianity, where in the society, where in our churches, where in our homes, people can see Christ in us.